I'm sure that everyone passed through these, or it will be in the future. Because as guitar players, we don't only have a great passion for guitars, but often we develop a great passion for guitar pedals as well. And maybe after buying 1, 2, 3 or many more pedals like myself, we wonder which is the best way to put them all together in a pedalboard in order to have everything well organized at home, at rehearsals and of course in a live situation. In this video we're gonna take a look on which I think are the 5 most common mistakes that you can make when you're assembling your own pedalboard. And for the occasion I ordered a lot of good stuff from strumentimusicali.net that is supporting this video. Before to start, I kindly ask you to subscribe to this channel if you like this kind of content, because it helps really a lot for me to make this kind of videos. The first mistake is not to plan your pedalboard. Of course, often your pedalboard will change over time. However, having an idea of the dimensions and the type of the pedalboard that you need, I think it's really important. For example, if you're lazy and you know that you have to bring your pedalboard around, try not to choose a pedalboard that's too big and maybe choose one with a soft case instead of a touring hard case one, because otherwise just thinking of moving a really heavy pedalboard just by yourself can make your will to go to play a gig fading away gradually, and actually it happened to me. So if you have more or less an idea of which pedals do you have and their size, try to understand which pedalboard is the best one for you. A very useful tool, for example, is the Pedalboard Planner by Plettri. You can find the site or even the app for your phone, because this app contains all the sides of the pedals that we have, so I think it's really quite useful. For this video I chose the Plettri Nano Max, imagining a versatile setup for both home and live gigs, since it's really portable. The second mistake that for many people would seem even stupid is simply choosing the wrong pedals, especially depending on the rest of the setup that you have to use. We have to understand if we want to put all the pedals in the input of a clean amplifier, or if we would rather use some pedals in the input of the amplifier and the other in the loop effects, because this would lead to different approaches. For today's video I wanted to create a pedalboard to be used with any clean amplifier. It's a more direct and simple approach, but also it's really versatile, because this way we would carry a good percentage of our sound with us. And this is really useful for all the people that do a lot of rehearsals in different rooms, and for all the people that do a lot of gigs and they can't bring their own amplifier with them. Whatever approach you choose, including a tuner, it's always a good idea. The third error, a really common one actually, is to make the wrong signal chain. Of course, music is a form of art, so you can do pretty much whatever you want. However, there are some guidelines that can lead you to more common results that maybe you should observe. Unless you want to experiment with weird tonal solutions, I think you should always consider a good rule to put first in your signal chain all the pedals that change the quality of your tone. Like for example, fuzz, overdrive, compressor and distortion pedals. After that, you can use your ambience, like delays first and then reverbs. Regarding modulations, it's always kind of a personal choice, and it depends also if you want to play in stereo. Bear in mind that some pedals like fuzz ones tend to work better if they are the first pedals of the chain. Otherwise, their behavior can vary. However, there are many people that, for example, like to use a wah first and then a fuzz, and that can lead in a different type of tone, but still pretty effective. Regarding other pedals, I chose a Friedman small box in order to have an amp in a box type of thing, a great classic by Boss, the D8 delay, and finally the Blue Sky by Strymon in order to have nice reverbs for sure. The fourth mistake that probably everyone would make sooner or later is to underestimate the importance of the power supply. I remember myself going years ago at some really important rehearsals for an audition with my pedalboard, and even if my pedalboard was always being dead quiet, that day it was all about buzzes and other undesirable noises. That's because I didn't have a power supply with separated outputs, and so I had to avoid to use some of my favorite pedals, and I was really upset about that. So if you don't want to make the same mistake as myself, I suggest you to invest a little bit more, but to buy a power supply with all the isolated outputs, like this one. Also, very important, if you use digital pedals, check how much current they need. Really often modern pedals with algorithms of reverb and delay, they need a lot of current, so it's really wise when you plan your pedalboard to take note of all the voltage and current requirements of your pedals and match them with the power supply of choice. The fifth mistake is underestimating the importance of the cables. For sure, I suggest to you to choose nice quality cables for two reasons. The first one, obviously, is the quality of the signal, but maybe even more important, especially if you have to face stressful situations like rehearsals and live gigs, you want really solid, reliable cables. It can happen quite often that you plug everything fine and after a couple of rehearsals or gigs there will be no sound coming out of your pedalboard anymore. 9 times out of 10 it's some patch cable fault, and if you have a pedalboard with many of them, it's not really easy to figure out which one is the faulty one. If you use solderless cables like George L's, bear in mind that their worst enemy is the movement, so be sure to fix really well your pedals on your pedalboard. In that way you will have less problems. If you're not into customized patch cables, I think that more common ones like these Ernible, they can do a pretty good job in most of the situations. Let me know in the comment section down below if there are other mistakes that you can make that I haven't mentioned, and let me know which are your experiences in this matter and if you learned by yourself the hard way how to avoid some of these mistakes. I want to thank again strumentimusicali.net that gave me the chance to make this video. Of course, you can find all the links in the description down below. If you liked this video, please leave a like and consider subscribe to this channel so you won't miss any other video that I will upload in this very channel. And that's all for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time. Ciao!